Hey guys, my name's Jorge, and welcome back to the Empty House. Sorry for not making a video in a while. I've just been busy and down here in Georgia, and Jacob as well up in Ohio. But recently graduated from fire school, so that's exciting. And as well, gotta lean this way. I think today it's 81 or 82 days until my wedding, so pretty excited about that as well. Today I'm gonna be talking to you guys about my road to being Catholic and all that's gone in that, and as well how that's brought me to where I am today. So, first off, I am not a cradle Catholic. I was baptized Catholic, but not raised Catholic. And I was born in California, so pretty far away from home. And I always loved to go back to California. A lot of my family in California is actually not Catholic, so I didn't really have that much of a Catholic influence growing up. When we moved down to Georgia as well, it was just the four of us, my mom, my dad, my sister, and myself. And down here it's it's like the Bible Belt, so there's a lot of different types of religions down here, so it was really good in helping me immerse myself in different types of faith, but as well, it helped me to just cement more in my heart and my family's like that we needed to find a place to call home, and home being somewhere that we felt God calling us to as a family. So growing up, once I became Catholic more per se, I didn't do that until I was in the 7th or 8th grade when I started going to St. Joseph's in Marietta, Georgia. And we moved to one other parish before we just settled at one, and that was St. Thomas the Apostle in Smyrna. And once we started going there, me and my family entered the church on the Hispanic side of things, so more of the Spanish stuff. And I got evangelized there with my family and had my first adoration experience, and that was about like a 5-hour experience with the monstrance out with Jesus, and then the priest also brought out a crucifix of disfigured Jesus and bloody Jesus. So it was a pretty intense retreat to live for your first Catholic thing. And I feel like it could push you away from that for sure, saying all that, and such a lengthy adoration experience with a guided meditation through your family and other people that may have hurt you and learning how to forgive them. But especially the disfigured Jesus could either push you away or pull you in closer. And I feel that as a family, it brought us even closer to the church. And it wasn't until my junior year that I started going. Well, once I started high school, I started going more to the English side of things. I went to youth group, and at my parish we had Life Teen. And one of the people that really helped me a lot in the beginning of my faith was my youth minister at the time, named Deepa. And she was amazing and really helped me to ask questions and to just get more involved in my faith. And I was kind of the headache kid. I would always get in trouble. I always had someone to make sure that I was doing the right thing. And at retreats, I was always staying up super late and doing things I shouldn't be doing. So, Deepa, for sure, time off purgatory because she had to deal with me. But as well, just thinking about during that time and knowing that now, there was a men's retreat my junior year that I went to. The first night I fell asleep like at 4. I got in trouble that night as well because we played dodgeball and I made somebody's nose bleed, and we weren't supposed to do headshots, but I did and got in trouble. But we're going to have adoration the next night, and one of the youth ministers came up to me and told me that we're going to have adoration. And they told me that because at this point in my life, after that 5-hour adoration experience, I felt that I was unworthy to go to adoration and to be in the presence of God. So I really struggled a lot with being in the presence of the Eucharist and just being there, because my past was like kind of like the bad, I don't know. I was like a typical high school boy, but a little bit worse probably. So I messed up and hurt a lot of people. So I've reached out to them through the years and try to ask for forgiveness and try and talk to those that I have hurt. And for some people, I couldn't do that because they either didn't get back to me or I was in a place where I still wasn't ready to ask for that or do that. And because of that, we were going to have adoration my junior year that night at this men's retreat. And as soon as we started going into the room, I started thinking, oh, well, I need to go to the bathroom. So I was going to get up and leave. And right when I was going to do that, a voice that was super clear in my head said, just stay with me, just this once. Just this once, please stay with me. And I was like, all right, what could possibly happen? I'll stay just this once. It's not like it's going to change my mind about anything. So I stayed, and it changed my life forever because I started praying like I've never prayed up to that moment, and then I cried like I've never cried to up to that moment. And it was crazy. I fell asleep, or I was slain in spirit, whatever you want to call it. And when I woke up, I felt like I went to confession like a million times. I felt so warm inside, like I was being given a huge hug, just right, not painful or anything, but just the right squeeze from that hug, and someone saying everything's going to be okay. And I was like, I need to stay in this. I went to sleep. It was 8 o'clock. Everybody thought I was sick or something because that never happens. So I go lay down, and then one of the life team dads, that's what we call them, he came and woke me up and said, hey, we need to go to the hospital because your dad is sick. So I got ready, and I went to go open the door, and as soon as I touched the doorknob, I fell to my knees and could not stop crying, and I felt like something bad had happened. And at this point, I had a different youth minister, and his name was Andrew McGovern, and he was amazing man and really solid dude. He was also really big. He was like 6'3" or 6'4". So I just remember walking out into the hall and seeing him crying, and he hugged me and he said, I don't know why this happened. And none of this was clicking in my mind because all I could think of was he's sick. So on the hour drive to the hospital, I was praying the whole time, and as well for 30 minutes I cried, and then that overwhelming sense of peace came back over me. And I stopped crying, and I was like, all right, whatever you want, God, like I'm ready for it. If he's sick, then, let this scare be a lesson for me to be a better son. But if he's not, like, let me try and be the son that I need to be for my mother right now and the brother that my sister needs right now during this time. So it wasn't until I got into his room that I grabbed his hand and I felt how ice cold it was that I realized that he had passed away. And in that moment, a lot of the men afterwards came up to me and were like, hey, you need to be a man now, and you need to provide for your family. And for me, I had it in my head that I wanted to go be a psychologist because that's something that I enjoyed a lot in high school psychology class. But because of this and feeling this pressure that I need to be a man as a junior and provide for my family, I went after I graduated high school. And during high school, my last year, I started applying and talking with a recruiter for the Marines, and everything was going great. Did really good on the ASVAB, and then after that, I went to do MEPS. Did really well the second day, and I was at the last stage, I believe. I went to go talk to the doctor, and I told her that I dislocated my shoulder when I was 3, and she said I was disqualified until I could bring a letter saying that I was fine. And I did, but years later, my paperwork is still being processed, and even the Army, they said they could get me in, but that didn't work out. And that's great because through that, I was able to go work jobs that I thought were manly, so I could try and figure out what it meant to be a man. So I worked in construction, I worked as an electrician for a while, and I went to go do a little bit of carpentry, and then I went to go work at a paint store for a while as well. And while I was at the paint store, I had already applied to be a summer missionary with Life Teen, and I got accepted, and then I went to Camp Hidden Lake in Dahlonega, Georgia. And that's where I first felt like this huge push to really grow more as a man. And one of the people that really helped a lot with that was somebody named PJ Vega. He really helped me to see more of what it meant to be a man, and we just helped each other grow and just really got close. So that really helped me a lot having him there. And then one day, one of the speakers, his name was Jimmy Mitchell, he gave a talk and he was talking about estovir and how that means be a man, but like be a man after God's own heart. And that really hit me because that's what I was trying to do, is trying to figure out what it meant to be a man. And this whole time I was doing what earthly men would do and getting horrible advice at these jobs, and nobody was really telling me what I felt like I needed to hear. Until that night, I felt like this whole time my answer has been in front of me and I never even knew it. So I applied to be a full-time missionary because I really desired a brotherhood that I got at camp. So I applied and I got accepted. PJ as well got accepted, and then another guy from the camp that is an amazing man as well, Patrick McGowan, and both me and Pat were at Cove Crest in Tiger, Georgia, and I was there for a whole year. And Paul Flores really helped help me grow even more as a man, and as well Michael Berry, the camp director at the time, really was just the amazing men that I had in my life to help me be the man that God is calling me to be, with these brothers and these men and Michael Berry as a father being in front of me and showing me what it meant to be a man of God. And eventually I became the men's house leader my second year, and I had a whole house of men that I was with, and that really helped me grow even more in my faith. And I did a third mission year in Charleston as the team leader as well, and that was just a huge experience that I'll never forget, that really pushed me even more to grow in ways that I couldn't at Life Team, because over there everyone comes to us, but with the DMT in Charleston, we were really sent out to whatever parish, whoever needed us, we went to them, and that really helped me as well grow a lot in my faith. And now I'm at the point where during that whole mission year in Charleston, that's when I started really dating and getting to know even more my fiance now. And we dated long distance while she was in New York the whole time. And in my first month and a half of being with her, I talked to her dad, because that first night, that's when I realized that I wanted to marry her. So I talked to him when I was done praying about it for a month and a half and getting nothing but confirmation about it. And I waited until we were both together at the same place like her dad wanted to, and then I waited another month, and then I asked her to marry me. And now we are under 100 days from getting married, and I'm super excited for that, and I can't wait to be a part of her family and for her to be a part of mine, but as well to be able to have our own family and to lead each other to God. And it's been a long journey from where I've been in my past of hurting people and lying all the time and just being up to no good, to now like Katie, that I think is like the most holy woman on earth, thinks I'm super holy, and I'm like, I don't know what she's talking about, but how I can lead her to God every single day, and how she, just even by looking at her, I'm like, I want to be better, not only for myself, but for her as well, because I want her to get to heaven. And once we get married, my job is to make sure that I can get her and my family to heaven. And it's even making me grow way more, because I'm now preparing for the sacrament of marriage. So that is my road to being Catholic. And I hope that if you guys have any questions or just want to tell me yours or whatever, feel free to message me or text me if you have my number. If you don't, just message me on the Instagram and just address it to me. And once Jacob uploads his, you can address him if you want or have any questions for him as well. Thank you.